The flying wings, the XB and the YB. Last I left off, I did get everything masked off, and I went back in with some tulip and filled in some gaps. And basically, I probably have to paint a little bit more so I can actually see some of the gaps. The metallic silver will make it pop if there's any more gaps I need to fill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paint the base coat on, and then I will go back in with a little bit of tulip and then touch up with the silver metallic base coat. First things first though, when I do paint metallic, I always paint with a black base coat. A lot of people use shiny black, gloss black. I don't. I prefer flat black, just straight out of the can. And I don't have to, I don't like to cover the entire model, as in, you know, I make it dark in spots, lighter, and it just makes the silver metallic a almost a different, just a little lighter shade, and that's what I like. The Supermax silver metallic here, it's pretty close to the Duplicolor ones that I've been using. It's got a little bit of a flake in it, which I like really well. I think it gives it much more of a aluminum finish, and plus once I get a couple coats on here, and then I want to go in and post shade the panel lines just to make it stand out, and mine will be different from everyone else's. So that's what I got going on today on the flying wings. So hopefully I can get the top done, let that dry for this afternoon, and lay down some paper towels, flip it over, and then do the bottom, and then fill in any gaps that I need to finish up. So that's where I stand on that. Had to get me a new work surface, if you will. I always destroy my mats and anything that I have for a workbench top, and I needed a piece of glass because it's harder, but I needed basically the picture frame here I needed a lip, because sometimes parts fly and the lip will save it. So that's why I have the glass there, if anyone's wondering about that. The Eaglemoss, I actually just basically spent one day and just kit bashed a bunch of them. I took the Voyager and the Sovereign and basically swapped the nacelles. That's the way he wanted it, and a lot of people do different kit bashes this way. There's a Reliant and Enterprise B, pretty cool. I took the Enterprise B and the Reliant one and made a Curry refit. And on the Deep Space Nine shows, when you do get to see the Curie, it's basically an Excelsior, not the refit version, but pretty darn cool. So what I did after that is basically go back in, and I'm painting off the registry marks on here. And some of the paint's easy to match, some of it's a little hard. I gotta try to figure out what the blue color is. I know it's supposed to be like duck egg blue, but it's kind of a little darker than duck egg blue, so I'm going to try to match the color. I got the Sovereign and the basically light ghost gray color fixed pretty well on it. I am going to leave some of the two-tone colors. I think it actually, I think it looks pretty decent. This is like a lighter, darker gray, and that's a light gray, so it actually looks pretty good. And I just got to match the paint, and that's about the only hard part. Painting, not the hard part, just matching the color, or get, you know, pretty close to it, so you can make you know, different little panels just to break it up, and it won't, you know, say the Reliant. So that's what I got going on today. I got the Eaglemoss here. This is the second round batch, and then once I get these painted, I'll do one more beauty shot, and then we can start another batch. The D7, I ain't really starting this yet. It's just kind of a need to get them a little farther along before I do start the D7. But I did get the nacelles put together, and I did a little bit of sanding on them while the paint dry, and I went ahead and cut a brass tube And this will be telescoping for the D7, because we are going to add some lights on this. And then once you do telescoping, this is the smaller tube, the bigger tube it'll fit on, and then it'll support the weight and be balanced and easy to assemble when I do ship it off. And for my little Stormtrooper guy here, base work, basically I did the celluclay, white glue, and a handful of gravel. Once that dry, I masked off the base and then took airbrush with some dark earth from Vallejo and just airbrushed a base coat on the groundwork, and you can tell blends in nicely. Then I'm going to go back in and do some dry brushing and some shading just to break it all off, and probably add a little bit of grass to make it just kind of like indoor, if you will. Not really indoor. And then I took my little leaf maker and just a white paper, made some leaves. And what you can do is paint the paper whatever color you want for leaves, you know, brown, oranges, reds. And then you can cut them out, and you can also soak these like in white glue, and you can make them bend them in different shapes, so you can have you know, different styles of leaves. So I may add them, may not, just haven't decided what I really want to do yet. Just kind of slowly plugging along on it till I get it done. But that's what I got going on today. We got the little diorama. We are doing some Eaglemosses, doing some prep work on the D7, and we're finally painting the flying wings. So stay tuned for the next exciting episode.